My name is Ellen Sprenkel, and I have the privilege of serving as the president of the Core Network. Rather unbelievably, I have been in this role since 2014, which one of my colleagues so kindly pointed out to me represents a quarter of the organization's history, which also means, yes, among other things, that I'm getting old. But we're not going to dwell on that. Let's actually go back in time for a few minutes. Specifically, let's go back to 1985. Many of you weren't born. I was 15. And as required by the fashion of that era, I had big shoulder pads and even bigger hair. Bruce Sido, who is getting picked on this afternoon, had a ponytail. As Marie mentioned, personal computers were just coming onto the market. Very few people had mobile phones, but if they did, they were about 10 inches long, weighed 2.5 pounds, and cost the equivalent of about $10,000. Try sticking one of those in your purse or your pocket. Calling them mobile was a stretch. You could, however, make a call from a phone booth for 25 cents, if you could find one. A gallon of gas cost about $1. You could see a John Hughes movie for $3, and I recommend anybody who kind of wants a feel-good Saturday night, watch a John Hughes movie. 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, all the good ones. And you could go to a Madonna concert for $15. Ronald Reagan was in his second term as president. He ran on a platform of cutting social programs and taxes, privatizing many federal programs and services, and massive investments in defense spending and nuclear weapons, which were necessary at that time to respond to threats from what we referred to then as the Soviet Union. In March of that year, a group of service and conservation corps, including Civic Corps, the Los Angeles Conservation Corps, corps in Minnesota, Ohio, and Wisconsin, founded the National Association of Service and Conservation Corps, or NASC, as we just learned, and what we now refer to as the Core Network. The Core Network was established with several purposes in mind. The first, to provide service and conservation corps with an advocate in Washington, D.C., specifically with Congress and the administration. Second, to give corps a way to formally convene, collaborate, and contribute to a national collective impact, which we heard about. And perhaps most important, to give people with shared values and organizations with common missions an opportunity to share knowledge, experience, and mutual support in good times and in bad. In short, the Core Network was established to create a community and to empower that community with a voice, resources, and a support system. Much has changed in 40 years. Bruce and I both have far less hair. All of the information you could ever want, and much that you don't want, can fit in your pocket or on your wrist. And depending on where you live, you can buy a gallon of gas for between $3 and $5. You can get a movie ticket for between $10 and $15, or you could attend a Taylor Swift concert for anywhere from $100 to $1,000. Some things, however, haven't changed. The current administration is pursuing smaller government as well as spending and tax cuts. The America's relationship with Russia and the rest of the world remains complicated and sometimes scary. But on a more positive note, the Core Network is still here. Yes, as an organization, but also as a community of people and programs, bigger and more impactful than ever. As of today, the Core Network represents 150 programs that operate in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. territories, and collectively engage, as we heard, about 23,000 young people each year. We just heard Marie talk about the collective impact of the Core community from 2024, just 1 year. Very impressive. Just think about those numbers if we multiply them by 40 years, or in the case of the California Conservation Corps, by 50 years, or Student Conservation Association by 70 years. Many corps represented here today have been in existence and doing important work for decades. If your corps has recently recognized an important milestone, raise your hand. We're happy to celebrate with you. My point is, together and over time, our impact has been huge. Millions of acres of habitat restored, millions of miles of trails built, thousands of homes weatherized and retrofitted, thousands of disasters responded to, and collectively, at least 500,000 young people engaged in education, workforce development, and service. In the 1980s, in partnership with many of you, we established the Urban Core Expansion Project to establish new cores in underserved cities. In the late 80s, many of you worked together to restore Yellowstone National Park after catastrophic wildfires. You came from all corners of the country to do an incredible amount of work. In 1993, we partnered with other service organizations to create AmeriCorps, and we continue to work with those partners to defend it year after year, and this year is no different. In 2005, Corps responded to Hurricane Katrina. In 2010, to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. In 2020, Corps pivoted to provide critical services in response to COVID-19. Over the last 4 years, you have helped communities across the country implement thousands of projects, necessary and important projects to improve their resilience to climate change. And I could go on. We've also come through some rough times together. Terrorist attacks on our own soil, the Great Recession, a global pandemic, countless natural and man-made disasters, consistent proposals to cut funding that supports our work. And we're in a pretty challenging time right now. Recent and rapid changes by the current administration are causing an unprecedented level of uncertainty for our field. Many of the funding sources that we rely on have been paused or rescinded, or targeted for cuts or even elimination. New executive orders and changing federal priorities are requiring all of us to review and sometimes modify our language and our programming. Partners with whom we have worked for years, both here in DC and across the field, are changing or leaving their positions. We recognize and applaud those of our federal partners who are here with us today, some of them incognito, and our hearts are with the many of those that were not able to join us. Under circumstances like these, it's easy to become bogged down with anxiety and fear. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the number and size of the issues before us. It's tempting to want to throw your hands up and wait for someone else to come solve our problems. I imagine many of you, your staff, your Corps members, and your partners feel the same. And I will be the first to admit that on occasion I am up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out the best way forward. But we're not going to get bogged down or overwhelmed, and we are not going to give in to the urge to give up. We're going to do what we have done in previous times of challenge. We're going to lean into the reasons that the Corps Network was founded 40 years ago. We're going to come together as a community, as we are today. We're going to marshal our resources. We're going to develop a strategy. We're going to raise our voices, and we're going to rely on each other for support. Let's start with the why. If we're honest with ourselves, even in the best of times, the work that we do is complicated and can be hard. Let me let you in on a little secret. We're probably not going to get rich or famous in this line of work. So why do we do it? We asked you that question when you registered for this conference, and here are some of the responses we got. Generally speaking, you told us you want to make the world a better place. You want to preserve and protect the environment. You want to make a difference in your community. And my favorite, you want to help young people achieve their goals and make their dreams come true. And you believe that cores do all of these things and more. And I believe it too. It comes back to those shared values that brought us together 40 years ago. And although the country feels divided right now, the majority of Americans share those values with us. In fact, while more than 80% of Americans say that the country is currently divided on important issues, according to recent polls, 90% of Americans support a clean and healthy environment. 60% of Americans say they want to spend more time outdoors. More than 70% of Americans believe that access to good education and workforce development is critically important for our future. And nearly 100% of Americans say they want better for our nation's youth. In short, the vast majority of Americans support the work that you do every day. We will continue to explore the why all of us believe so passionately about cores over the next few days, but let's talk for a minute about the how. First, we're going to use our collective voice. We need to tell our story, and we have an amazing story to tell. We just established the majority of Americans overwhelmingly support the work that you do. And earlier we talked about the incredible impact that cores have in communities and on public lands across the country. Remember those millions of acres of habitat you restored, the millions of miles of trail you built, the thousands of natural disasters you all responded to? And add to that the fact that cores are cost effective. We have an independent analysis that demonstrates that cores are more cost effective than in-house or contract labor. We have return on investment studies, many of them, that show that for each dollar spent on a core, leverages multiple dollars from other sources and produces benefits many times worth the original investment. Further, cores are nimble and responsive to community needs. In California, cores are engaged in wildfire response and recovery. In Colorado, cores are helping national parks address backlog maintenance needs. In the Gulf states, cores are responding to habitat or restoring habitat destroyed by hurricanes and by the BP oil spill. In New York, Green City Forest is growing fresh produce in food deserts. In Baltimore, Civic Works is installing solar panels on low-income homes. During COVID, you delivered ventilators to hospitals and food to homebound individuals and families. In short, you do what needs to be done. Add to that the fact that cores are preparing future workers, promoting future leaders, and producing active and contributing citizens. We have a great story to tell, and we have great storytellers. Our core members of the year, and thank you, Balin, for setting a wonderful example in terms of sharing your story and being ready to advocate. We'll recruit you to our government relations team shortly, in the near future. Our core members of the year, but every single core member in our programs not only has a story, but they are the best possible storytellers we could ask for. Policy and decision makers at the federal, state, and local level want to hear from our core members. So let's prepare them not only to advocate for our programs, but on their own behalf. These are our future leaders. In 10 or 20 years, maybe even sooner, they will be running cores. They will be leading in their communities. They will be making policies and important decisions at all levels of government. Let's prepare them to do better for America. Next, let's marshal our resources. First, we need to protect the funding we have. This means working together with our partners to advocate for AmeriCorps, for the Legacy Restoration Fund, for urban and community forestry grants, and for other programs that support the work that we do. We will all have a chance to educate our members of Congress and advocate for these programs tomorrow during our Hill visits. The Core Network's government relations team and communications team have prepared materials for you to take with you. And if I could have them raise their hand. They are here and they are ready and willing to help you with whatever you need to go make our case on the Hill. And be warned that tomorrow's meetings are just the first step. We at the Core Network are going to bug you relentlessly to do follow-up and to continue to do outreach, to invite your elected officials and their staff to your orientations, graduations, service projects, days of service. This is how you build champions and supporters, and we need each and every one of you to do your part. In all honesty, I believe that, I worked on Capitol Hill for a long time. Those of you who don't, I've been doing this work for a long time. We're in a unique situation here, but I honestly believe that Congress and the courts, which represent another strategy that we are considering as a network, is our best chance to secure currently owed funds and future funding. So please be ready for our calls when we ask you to write a note to your member of Congress or ask you to reach out. We're in this together. We also need to get creative and look for new partners and programs to support our work. If the federal government is going to get smaller, it stands to reason that state and local government is going to get bigger to meet the growing needs of their citizens. CORS can help. If this administration wants to promote products and services that originate here in the United States, domestic employers are going to need more workers, and CORS can help. And we need to look at philanthropy to fill in some immediate gaps, but also to support some longer-term strategies. Here at the Core Network, we've been working on 2 projects to strengthen our position as individual organizations, but also as a community with philanthropy. First, with the support of the Anna E. Casey Foundation and in partnership with Jobs for the Future, the Brookings Institution, and the Urban Institute, we are building the case that CORS are ideally positioned to train the next generation of workers for a clean and sustainable, domestically centered economy. Many of you have already contributed to this case by sharing information, curriculum, and best practices, so thank you. We'll get an update from our partners on that work on Thursday. We're also working with a fundraising firm called the OR Group to develop a case for how CORS can help funders meet their goals around climate change and conservation, civic engagement and service, democracy and leadership, youth and workforce development, particularly for communities and programs that have historically been underrepresented and underserved in these areas. The plan is to develop a versatile case that can be tailored for use by individual CORS, groups of CORS, and/or the national network of CORS. It can be used with national, state, regional, and local funders as well, and high net worth individuals. We're also designing it in such a way that it can be used to meet short, medium, and long-term needs and strategies. Amanda Nelson, Melissa Chang, Asai Edwards, if you are in the room, raise your hands. They are here with us, with our consulting firm, and they're going to be with us for the next couple of days to get your input on what this case needs to include to meet your needs back in your communities and for your organizations. So I hope you will spend some time with them. We're going to hear more about the case in particular, and we're going to hear from 2 foundations about how they are responding to this rather unique moment in time on Thursday. Finally, we're going to lean in to the last purpose as a community of individuals and organizations to support each other. We've already established that we have a commitment to a shared set of values. And while we may need to, at least for the time being, message differently about those values, we are not going to back away from, and we are not going to change those values. They are fundamental to who we are and to what we do. We believe in our CORs. We believe in our core members, and we believe that they offer a way to make the world, the environment, the nation, and our communities better. And we believe in each other. The room is full of some of the smartest, most dedicated, most passionate, and most compassionate people I know. There is no group of people I would rather go through a challenging time with than all of you. We're going to have many opportunities over the next few days to share our stories, celebrate our successes, share our hopes and our fears, our laughter and our tears. So enjoy being together. Have fun. Come to the DJ dance party tomorrow night, because we're going to party like it's 1985. I can almost guarantee you will hear some Madonna, Michael Jackson, and Wham. And that's... This is the strategy that brought us through and even allowed us to thrive in challenging times over the last 4 decades. This is a strategy that will get us through our current challenges, as well as those that we will face in decades to come. This is the how. Just look around you for the why. So thank you for joining us. I'm really glad we can spend this time together. And I hope that we can all take comfort in each other over these next few days. I mean it when I say there is no group of people that I would rather go through difficult times with. All right, so thank you. I now have a special surprise to share with all of you. The Core Network was pleased to receive a video message from Maryland Governor Wes Moore. As some of you may know, Governor Moore is a strong advocate of national service. Back in 2023, his administration launched the very first state-backed service year program. The program offers a year of professional growth and career exploration where you can earn a living, gain new skills, and identify where your talents and purpose intersect, all while serving the state of Maryland. The governor actually wanted to be here in person with us today, but he had previous commitments, so we're going to hear a few words from him virtually.
Thank you so much, Mary Ellen, and congratulations on 40 years of impact. Service is sticky. It changes lives and it strengthens communities, and in this moment, when our nation faces deep challenges, Core members are more essential than ever. Workforce development, climate resilience, and equity must be national priorities, and service is the key to all three. So keep pushing, keep innovating, and keep proving that service isn't just noble, it's necessary. Maryland stands with you, and here is to the next 40 years.